All right, guys. Injuries from the game. Embry Thomas, he had a knee. He was in and out after that. Demo cleared his head injury. And Ayuk was in and out with the left shoulder. Go ahead.
Any indication that that shoulder injury is serious?
I wouldn't think so. I mean, I know he was hurting a little bit, but he was able to play through it, so I think he'll be all right.
What do you take out of this one? I mean, the defense had a tough time getting off the field in the first half, and then really turning on the second half. The offense, what do you take out of this?
I mean, there was a lot of stuff that happened with all three phases. I think what sealed it and allowed us to separate ourselves was the two turnovers we got. One, Demo, awesome job jumping that. Then Isaiah on the other with the tip. And then we didn't turn it over on O. Missed a couple that we had a chance on to get that score going. So we weren't perfect in that way, but I was just pumped the way we finished. Getting those turnovers was huge, and especially that 4th and 1 with Isaiah there towards the end of the game, being able to stop him in that run to get the ball back to work the clock a little bit.
You don't see those plays open up down the field for Brock, one thing, two. The Ayuk, Jennings, Devo, is that uncharacteristic of Brock not to hit those?
I mean, I thought they were all tough ones. I think that the Ayuk one was probably his toughest one because it was just his number one read, and it just sailed a little bit. The one with Debo, I mean, he went all the way across the board in a really tough read, and you'd love him to hit it, but he did miss it. And the one to Jennings, that one didn't bother me much. We were a little surprised the ball was going there, and everyone else was covered, and he just tried to make a play. But the main thing he did today was protect the ball. Besides those 3 misses, which none of them were easy, but he took care of the football, didn't give them. All right, guys. Injuries from the game. Embry Thomas, he had a knee. He was in and out after that. Demo cleared his head injury. And Ayuk was in and out with the left shoulder. Go ahead.
Any indication that that shoulder injury is serious?
I wouldn't think so. I mean, I know he was hurting a little bit, but he was able to play through it, so I think he'll be all right.
What do you take out of this one? I mean, the defense had a tough time getting off the field in the first half, and then really turning on the second half. The offense, what do you take out of this?
I mean, there was a lot of stuff that happened with all three phases. I think what sealed it and allowed us to separate ourselves was the two turnovers we got. One, Demo, awesome job jumping that. Then Isaiah on the other with the tip. And then we didn't turn it over on O. Missed a couple that we had a chance on to get that score going. So we weren't perfect in that way, but I was just pumped the way we finished. Getting those turnovers was huge, and especially that 4th and 1 with Isaiah there towards the end of the game, being able to stop him in that run to get the ball back to work the clock a little bit.
You don't see those plays open up down the field for Brock, one thing, two. The Ayuk, Jennings, Devo, is that uncharacteristic of Brock not to hit those?
I mean, I thought they were all tough ones. I think that the Ayuk one was probably his toughest one because it was just his number one read, and it just sailed a little bit. The one with Debo, I mean, he went all the way across the board in a really tough read, and you'd love him to hit it, but he did miss it. And the one to Jennings, that one didn't bother me much. We were a little surprised the ball was going there, and everyone else was covered, and he just tried to make a play. But the main thing he did today was protect the ball. Besides those 3 misses, which none of them were easy, but he took care of the football, didn't give them a chance to touch it, and when he was under duress, he was smart.
Before the end of the first half, the ability to you save some time, even though they scored, but then to go down and tie it.
That was huge. I mean, we hadn't stopped them yet. They'd been controlling it well. We had that one miss when we got right in there on the fringe and missed the one to BA, and then I think we got sacked on the next one where we had a chance at Debo. And then they controlled it and scored, and especially with them getting the ball in the third quarter, I thought it was huge. We got a couple big plays. At first, you're hoping to get a field goal, but we got a bunch of big plays and got down there, and to be able to finish it with 1 second with a sneak was big for us going in with them starting.
Why go with the sneak there, Kyle, instead of kicking?
We were so close. Also, they were scoring a lot of points. It looked like we needed points at the time, and we also believed we could do it.
Were you surprised, I guess, particularly in the first half, you didn't get much pass rush pressure at all?
Yeah, I expect a little bit more pass rush, kind of what we saw towards the end of the game. I thought we got it going well there. I also thought Stafford did a pretty good job getting rid of it. We were in some zone coverages, and he kind of picked that apart, similar to what he did last week at Seattle. So he's had 2 really good games, and we got to tighten it up.
What do you see from Nick Bosa in particular? Is he all the way back in game shape yet?
I don't know. I'll see when I study the film, but I saw him make a number of plays there at the end, I thought he pressured him sometimes. But I'll see when I study the tape.
Did you have to manage his snaps at all with quick turn here coming Thursday?
No, we didn't talk about any of that. We just
Consult with Steve Wilkes at halftime and say, are we going to blitz more? I mean, you discuss defensive.
halftime. There's not much time because I'm doing some stuff with the offense, but it's something I'm always on the headsets discussing through the whole game. Usually each series there's a couple here and there, and we don't need to come into the locker room to talk. Usually the locker room's such a rush, and they got to go cover so much stuff with their players that all that stuff's usually said before we get in there.
Was that a conversation that, okay, we're going to dial up the blitz a little bit more to get him off his rhythm?
Not that specifically. I mean, there's a lot of conversation, but I thought Steve did a good job mixing it up. Especially there at the end, being aggressive. I just thought we were struggling in our zones a little bit versus the quarterback.
Did you sense that Debo's touchdown was going to unfold? No, I mean, he obviously going to bang his way through to get to the goal line, but how that unfolded?
I've gotten used to it with him. It was the look we wanted, which usually means you're going to get about 6 yards, and it's kind of a 1st and 10 run basically, even though it's a quick pass. But then Debo has a knack for getting a lot more than most people after that.
Is that supposed to be a forward pass or lateral?
When you're under center, it's usually a forward pass. Depends how much he bubbles, but we should back up enough to where it counted as a pass. Did it count as a pass? It did count as a run? All right. Pat of run stats.
Kyle, if you look at the rosters, your roster, Rams roster, it looks like the talent. There's a huge talent disparity, but obviously there's also the familiarity, between these teams. Did you, halfway expect this kind of green type game?
Oh, yeah, we definitely did. We watched the film from last week. And that quarterback's still just as good as he's always been, and so is Aaron Donald. And like we saw last week, they're coached very well. They got 2 good schemes, and I know they've changed some players from the past, but there's still some Hall of Famers out there who are playing at a high level.
Speaking of Donald, no tackles, 1 quarterback hurry. What do you guys do to identify him?
We just commit everything to him, because if you don't, he wrecks everything. And I didn't realize it was like that on the stat sheet, but definitely didn't feel like that. I thought he defeated a number of blocks today. We were just able to get rid of it before he got there, and able to run away from him.
Without looking at the tape, was Isaiah Oliver's performance today perhaps a little bit more indicative of what you guys are hoping to see?
Yeah, I thought he was a stud today. I got to watch the whole tape to get through all of it, but I know he made some huge plays. He drove them on an out-of-bounds route when we were in quarters, which was good. The 4th and 1 was huge, because it's a Tampa 2 look, which he's walked on the slot, and that's a far away from the B gap, and he didn't hesitate, had a big-time tackle, and then him getting the pick. So especially with some of our DBs getting banged up throughout the game, those guys had to step it up because they were kind of all over the place, and he did a great job at that.
What made weeks ago you've had 30 points, but it looks like you still left some.
Sorry, what's that?
2 weeks in a row now you've put up 30, even though it looks like you left some plays on the field. When you think about that, what is the potential of this offense?
It's high, but I feel that way kind of every year. We're extremely irritated when we don't score, and we were today, but been like that for like 20 years. It's always frustrating. So you expect to score. That's how you try to attack. That's what our players expect, and we got a bunch of guys who can make plays, and that we had some bad penalties there at the end. Missed a couple explosives, but we we got a long way to go. I thought we did last week too. Hopefully we got a little bit better this week, and that'll continue throughout the year.
What made it difficult for you all to defend against Kyron Williams, especially just to run and have that flexibility the way he's willing to have as far as up and down the field?
I mean, I just think it all started with Stafford. I mean, just him getting so hot there at the beginning, and especially the way they came out on that opening drive, kind of attacking our zones and looking pretty effortless at it. And once you do that and you got to adjust, then it gets a little bit harder with the run game too. So he did a good job keeping us off balanced, and I thought once we tightened it up a little bit in the second half, things started to go better.
Are you surprised they kicked the field goal there at the end?
Not totally, because the game's almost over either way there. And they could have tried for a Hail Mary, or you never know, 4 seconds it should end. But we felt pretty good with 4 seconds that for some reason they could kick a fastball and have 1 second and run out on the onside kick. So we felt pretty good there. It was kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't from their perspective.
Was that your first not yours, but your first 57-yard field goal in your career?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
What made Puka and Tutu so tough?
What's that?
What made Puka and Tutu so tough to cover that?
Same thing as in the week before. I mean, most of our stuff was in zones, and if you don't get to that quarterback, those zones will break down, and he diced us up in that way. I thought we tightened it up and got better there in the second half. And not to take anything away from those two players, I thought they did a real good job, just like they did last week. But my hat's off to both of them and the quarterback.
Is that part of the adjustment, just to play more man in the second half? And can you just talk about the difficulty of playing cornerback? Because it seems like down in Illinois, he's targeted every play, it seems, or every other play. He makes a play on third down, they come back to him on fourth down. The next series, he has an interception that kind of saves the game. Just talk about how difficult it is to play that position.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you can't play cornerback by yourself. You need 10 guys out there to help you. You need a pass rush. You need to mix up coverages. When you go against some of the better quarterbacks in this league, it's kind of always like that, especially, when they have wideouts out there. But it always starts there with the quarterback. And I thought Demo I thought he was one of our better players today. I mean, just the way he showed up at the end. I know we gave up a number of completions, but he was the one, to me, being the most aggressive there in man. He got that huge pick at the end by undercutting him, and he played real physical in the run game too.
Say one more. Were you always going to run it in, in the back of your mind, get down to the final seconds, just run it in?
At the end of the second quarter? Well, yeah, just when you get to that situation, the time, if you run it in and you get stopped, we didn't have any timeouts, so running the ball is only an option if you know you're going to score. That's why the other plays, we try to do them as fast as possible, and that's why you tell Brock if it's not there, try to throw it away as fast as you can. One was almost too high, so I was scared that they're going to run one more second off. But yeah, when you get to the last play, then anything's open, because after that play, it is going to be over, so that's the only time that really everything's on the table.
All right, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks, guys.
What was different in the second half? What were you guys doing to get Stafford off that rhythm he was in early?
We made some adjustments in the run game, which I think helped, and turnovers. Were they both in the second half? Yeah, so obviously that helps, and we kind of got into some of our pressures on the earlier downs, which is good against them when they protect with a lot of guys. So, but yeah, we just need to keep winning our one-on-one matchups when we get them.
Did you know that Lenore got the interception when you were coming in on Stafford? Do you have any idea?
I didn't. No, I thought it was Mooney. I saw the single-digit number.
How hard is it not to get frustrated? It's the first half, and they're on the field as much as they are, and they're getting the ball out as quick as they are.
Not frustrated. Just it's football. It's the NFL. Stafford's Hall of Fame quarterback, and whenever they have him, they have a chance.
I lost count of your snaps, but it was well over 35. How are you feeling now, and is that any concern going into a Thursday game?
I'm not too concerned about it. I feel good. I think I needed a couple games to get my body into football shape for sure. You can't simulate it. And I think now that I'm through 2 and I've had some pretty good output for this one, I think I'm only going to be up from here.
Yeah, besides Stafford and Donald, they don't have tons of recognizable names. But did you expect a gritty game?
Yeah, always with the Rams and division opponents, and they have a lot of the cornerstone pieces that they've had on their runs. So you never expect to walk through an opponent.
I don't know how you judge games, but knowing that you got the 3 quarterback hurries, no sacks, how do you kind of judge in your own mind how good of a game you had?
I'll watch the tape. I think I improved from last week for sure. I was a little more comfortable. I had some answers to some of the things that were thrown at me, and definitely some things I want to work on, which is tough, especially Thursday night. But I'm happy we won.
Were the run adjustments along the defensive line? Were those the adjustments you guys made?
Say it again.
The run adjustments you referred to, were those along the defensive line or as a?
Yeah, the front 7.
Can you talk about what they were?
We did. We called a couple of pressures, some run pressures that worked for us.
All right, thanks, Nick.
Thank you.
What's up, guys?
Christian, has the defense changed much? Some new names, obviously, but has it changed much since the first time you faced them in your first start here?
It's hard to tell. For me to, obviously we watched tape on last year, but each year is new. They have a lot of new guys that play really hard. Schematically, they know us, we know them. So sometimes those are going to be, obviously tough games. So, but they play hard. It's a good defense.
You guys put up 30. Kyle was saying there are some opportunities that you left out there. How do you assess just the way the offense operated?
It's tough. I always wait to watch the tape to make any broad assumptions. But I think energetically we took care of the ball, and I think that was important. Obviously there was probably some times and drives that could have done this, could have done that. That always happens, win or lose. So I say it every week, but it's just going to be about watching the tape, getting things corrected, and going out and capitalizing on your strengths as well.
Can you take us through that 51-yard? What did you see in it to be able to be successful?
I saw some great blocks. Debo had a great block. Juwan had a great block, being going in motion and doing what he does. And after that, it was just instincts took over. But those guys, George had a great block too. Point of attack, Juice, all those guys all day, man. The O-line, they play so hard and fight for every single yard, and love those guys.
There was some back and forth after that with you and Keller Witherspoon. What was being said there?
What's up, man? Good to see you. Just casualties, just casual conversation.
Christian, piggybacking off that offensive line, it's 2 weeks in a row now. You had some room to run today. Brock was only sacked one time. I think he was only hit a couple times. You guys are relatively inexperienced up front, but it seems like they're playing really well. What are you seeing from these guys, especially along the interior?
Well, I think O-line is such a cool thing to learn the position, and when I see how those guys are being coached, obviously they're coached by one of the best to ever do it, and the way it fits the scheme is so important. And I just see a lot of guys who understand how to play together. They understand how to block certain fronts. They communicate really well, and then they play hard. And I think that's the most important thing, is just playing with great intent, trying to score on every play, and they understand that they're the focal point of the offense.
You guys have so much success running to the left. Everyone knows how good Trent Williams is. How good is Aaron Banks?
Unbelievable. I think, and he's only getting better too, which is exciting. I think having a guy like Trent Williams in that room, he's able to, give them so much wisdom and allow them to play fast. But, man, Banks is a special football player. All those guys are.
With you talk about having take care of the ball, Brock's done a pretty good job with that all the way through. Do you get that sense, no matter what they're in a game, that he is so well aware of that?
Yeah, I think, Brock is, I think everyone's a little less shocked now when he makes really good plays and makes great decisions, because that's just who he is. We see it every day, and that's part of winning football games. There was a lot of times where it felt like there might have been a little bit of a lull, especially in the middle of the game, but at the end of the day, it's a 4-quarter game. It's a 4-quarter fight, and so he did a great job taking care of the ball, and always does, so hopefully we can keep that up.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
You good?
You've had big runs in back-to-back games. How much is your familiarity of the offense, having that off-season, helping you to kind of see things?
I think it's huge. You run with your eyes and your feet follow. So understanding where to put your eyes on every run and what the scheme is trying to accomplish is so important. So just having obviously more wisdom under my belt is very important.
How much have you improved under Bobby Turner? I mean, he's coached Hall of Famers. How much have you improved under him?
So much. I didn't know what I didn't know when I first got here, and being in the room with him is such a special thing because he keeps you on your toes every single second of the meetings. He doesn't mess around. He brings out the best in you, but also he harps on so many of the fundamental things that it takes to be a running back that are so important. And each play is coached equally as hard when you're in the room with him, and it's just an honor, honestly.
All right, thanks, guys.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Brock, how much are you going to be thinking about the ones that got away in this game?
Yeah, probably a lot. But we got 4 days to get ready for this next game. But yeah, in my eyes, there's a couple opportunities obviously out there that I missed in terms of the deep ball and whatnot. So, but found a way to win. So.
Anything specific you can point to for why you missed those?
Nah, it's just I just overthrew him. On the one to BA, the one Debo, and then JJ on that third down. Yeah, it's just those are on me. I gotta be better. I gotta hit them in stride and not overthrow them. Simple as that.
I guess the obvious question is it a matter of you're still trying to figure out the strength of your arm now that you're prepared?
No, I don't think so. We've hit those deep balls and whatnot at practice and everything. It's just comes down when the bullets are flying, being able to make an accurate throw and not overthrow them, don't underthrow them, but just be on point. And so that's what you got to do as an NFL quarterback, and I take that on myself.
I'm sure it's always a point of emphasis to take care of the ball, but in a game like that, it's a division, gritty type of game, does it take on added importance to make sure that you're not putting the ball in harm's way?
Yeah, exactly that. It's a divisional game. There's a lot on the line for both teams. Like, you want to win. It can be a 4-quarter game, and really, obviously today it came down to, not turning the ball over. And so we knew that going into it. And for myself, it's like, man, I got to make plays for my team, but at the same time, protect the ball more than anything, let our defense play. And, at the end, see what happens where we got to be in the fourth quarter. But that was the name of the game today. So
At the end of the first half, when you guys had, some pass plays and you had to get rid of the ball to leave time on the clock, how much of that, just managing that situation, have you done in the past, and how do you feel about how you engineered it so there was 1 second left for the Sting?
Yeah, I think when I first got here is the first time I got exposed to that in terms of like how Kyle thinks about 2-minute drives. Obviously, you want to go down and score and get points on the board, but there's times where you don't need to do it as fast, and so that you don't get the other team the ball back to go do something as well. So. Obviously, we want to get first downs, move the chains, but sort of get the clock rolling, and then have an opportunity to score at the end. And so I feel like Kyle did a great job calling some plays early on in that drive, and then it timed out great to score with no points or no seconds left. So it's good.
Christian was just in here talking about the intent of the offensive line. You had a couple plays where you're going through multiple where he's able to go down the field, and it's probably because you had time. What's the biggest difference you notice in guys like Aaron Banks and Spencer Burford from this year, or from last year to this year?
Yeah, they've done a great job, all offseason, growing, watching film from last year where they could have gotten better. And at the end of the day, man, their mindset is where it needs to be, like they're dogs. They come to practice every single day, ready to work, ready to grind days out. And then, we get into a game like this where it takes 4 quarters against, guys like, Aaron Donald, and they got some good guys on the edge to be able to, know and hone in every single play what they're doing. And so, credit to those guys, man. They've gotten a lot better. I'm excited to roll with them, the rest of the year. And, they gave me a great time. There's multiple plays where I was able to go through reads and progressions and hit the number 3 guy and stuff like that. So I thought they did a great job in pass pro.
Could you sense the momentum going into halftime after scoring?
Yeah, 100%. They go down, score, and then it's like, all right, we got, 2 minutes or so left. Obviously, we want to score to get some momentum, but once we did and capitalized on it, it was like, okay, defense, go out and the first drive, the second half, get a stop, offense, let's roll. So everyone felt good about it. But, man, it's a team game. Defense gets a stop, offense goes and score. Like, that's what it's about. So, going in the second half, that was huge for us to be able to score. So
Maybe you already had it down, but Jimmy was always really good with sneaks. Did you pick up any tips from him last year on that front that you think made you better at that?
I mean, we always, try to figure it out. Like, what does Jimmy do so good with the QB sneak? Like, it's a question around, the team. And so, he just, found little creases and whatnot, but, got his shoulder pads down and would find a way. So that was really about it. I don't think there's necessarily a secret to it or anything, at least as far as I know. But, watching we watched a lot of, QB sneaks and stuff that Jimmy did well and what he did. So he did a good job with it. And I learned a couple things, but he never really told me. But, yeah.
Jimmy always claimed there was a secret. He didn't want to tell anybody. So he never even told you.
No, I mean, nah. He just, yeah, nah. But it's all good, man. I love Jim.
Have you gotten better at, not obsessing over mistakes, or do you feel like you probably won't be sticking over some of those throws?
I feel like in the game, man, it's crucial to be able to move on, have a clean slate, clean state of mind. Obviously, yeah, learn and be all right, if they give me that look again, I got to do this or that better. But to dwell on it and to obviously live in the past and beat yourself up on it, then I feel like that can hinder your game moving forward. So there's a fine line. I feel like when the game ends, it's like, yeah, be hard on yourself, learn from it. But right then and there in the moment, you got to find a way to move on and play a clean game.
Brock, a lot of your teammates openly admitted, not disrespectfully, but they haven't heard a lot about a lot of these Rams guys. They're just kind of unrecognizable. At the same time, you guys seem to a man expect that type of game. Why is that?
Yeah, I mean, they're a good squad. I feel like those guys, they, a lot of them, you don't know them, but they're on that team for a reason, man. You're playing in the NFL, you're on an NFL roster, you're good. And I feel like for those guys, man, they're trying to make a name for themselves. They play hard for 4 quarters, and we knew that coming into the game that we're going to get their best shot. And so, credit to them. I thought they did a great job. They play hard and they play together. It's going to be a defense, moving forward that, we got to obviously scheme up really well and be ready to play 4 quarters of. So, respect to them.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Fred's right here. We'll have Debo after him.
Let's do it again, huh?
Fred, what changed from first half to second half?
I think overall just kind of trying to get more stickier in coverage, trying to pressure Stafford a little more. Trying to eliminate the run game. I feel like in the first half, that run game kept them ahead of the sticks a lot. They were taking what we were giving them. We had to tighten things up in the back end and try to make it a little bit harder on Stafford.
Hey Fred, tie game 17. You guys get the big stop there, the interception. What do you see on that play?
Yeah, that was a huge moment, Isaiah, on that play. I can't remember exactly what they ran, but I think they kind of were trying to high-low concept, and just like the whole game, Stafford was taking what we were giving him. He wanted the low one, and Isaiah was right there for when the ball tipped up by the running back right into his hands. Made a huge play in a crucial moment.
Ensuing possession, you sacked Matthew Stafford. That's the first sack the Rams O-line has given up this season. Kind of walk us through that sack, what you see, and how do you navigate through it?
Yeah, it was one that we dialed up there. We were trying to get the line to slide to me. That's why I kind of lined up to the right, and then I'm wrapping around, and I was wide open. The B gap opened up like the Red Sea, and I didn't know whether to jump or not. They always say don't jump, but it worked out.
Fred, I asked Brock a similar question, but that's a far different Rams team as far as star power than you saw 2 years ago. Why did you expect kind of that type? I think that game had the potential to kind of be like that.
I mean, it's a division opponent. We see them twice a year. It's always been a tough battle for us. Every single time we play those guys, people want to talk about our record against them in the regular season. It's always like a hard-fought battle, just like that game was today. They know us. We know them. They had a great game plan on offense for our defense. So some things that we got to shore up for sure.
You mentioned a few times Stafford taking what was given to him. Are you surprised by that? A guy with his big arm that eventually is going to get antsy and maybe try to take something down the field, or did that catch you off guard that he was consistently just taking that in the first half?
No, I thought it was smart, honestly. I think we were trying to relay to the back end that we needed to tighten things up, but kudos to them and for the game plan and the way that they executed. My guy Puka Nacua, he had a heck of a game. Every time I turned and looked, he was catching the ball and falling forward, with 2 guys hanging on him. So they did a good job.
Isaiah Oliver said it took him a little while to adjust to the 49ers defensive style. Did you see that, during the off season, and do you think that he's there now? He's caught up to it.
Yeah, Isaiah, I mean, he had a huge game today. I think this was great for him and his confidence in the scheme. And, Isaiah, he's a great player. We signed him for a reason. Obviously, I guess you could talk about an adjustment, but he's gotten better and better as his time has gone here. So I'm really happy for him and the performance that he had.
All right, thanks, Fred.
Thanks, guys.
There's something about this place that brings out the best in you?
You can say that, but we just come out here, execute at a high level, and it was a hard-fought battle. They came out here just like kind of what Fred said. They know us, we know them, and we knew it was going to be a grind this week.
Can you kind of recap this, your touchdown run, I guess, what it was?
Kind of like a little quick bubble, and we knew I was going to be one-on-one with the corner, and he shot his guns, but luckily he shot at my foot. And was able to break the tackle and just get in the end zone. You can just see all the guys, how determined they was to get me in the end zone as well by all the blocking.
For how often do you guys score? When are we going to see some kind of group celebration from you guys? Because I think you're lacking in that area.
You don't win by celebrations. You win by touchdowns, but that's not a big deal on this team.
You and Kendrick were shoving in the fourth quarter after a play, and there was a fan in the stands who tried to separate. You'd say, what do you think of that?
I didn't even know it until I just seen it. A fan trying to separate it, but he just ran up and kind of headbutted me out of nowhere, and I was like, what's going on? But that was kind of cool to see a fan get into it and trying to protect the team as well.
You guys have scored 30 points in each game, but do you feel like there's a lot more out there for this offense?
Oh, 100%. We're gonna watch this hard. We know Kyle's gonna come down on us hard for us. We missed a lot of opportunities out there. I feel like we left 4 touchdowns out there. But that's what practice for. That's what we're gonna keep building week in and week out to get better in that area.
Debo, you were critical of your performance last season on that touchdown. Did it feel like this is where the work is paid off?
Still got work to do. Like I just stated, we left a lot of yards out there. Say it again.
You personally, did you feel like that's where the work paid off?
It's not all about me. I'm a big team guy. So yeah.
What makes you guys so difficult to stop? It's 30 points, 2 games in a row. Last week was a lot of Brandon Ayuk. Today it was a lot of you. Obviously, Christian McCaffrey's pretty good in both games. What makes you guys so tough as an offense?
Just look at our offense and look at the guys that we have in the huddle. It's kind of crazy how we made that happen. Adding Christian was a big plus to us, and we just got a team full of playmakers.
Debo, that drive right before halftime, where you guys went to score the touchdown. What about just the overall execution and the time management of that?
We do. That's something we do every day at the walkthroughs, as far as the 2-minute drill and the plays and the time management. And I think Brock do a real good job with that, and Kyle do a real good job of putting us in good positions.
Anything else for Debo? All right, thanks.